What inspires me to keep going with Dry Meadow is like having that luxury of being able to spend time with my children or my husband and working to my own schedule, and I think that's really big for me. Rather than working a 9-to-5 job, I'm able to work my own hours, which can be hard sometimes, but that's certainly a big inspiration for me, that I can hang out with my family and do a job that I love. Hey, I'm Storm. I'm from Mount Maunganui, but I'm currently living in Dunedin, where I run my dried floral business called Dry Meadow. Basically, we do dried flowers. We sell online, so e-commerce, and we ship throughout New Zealand. We're currently looking at shipping overseas now as well, and we mainly do weddings on the side. I'm going to be making an all-white arrangement. So I love working with texture. That's what we're going to be starting with. So when I normally make an arrangement, I will kind of start with the bulk of it. So this is called Ming Fern, and it's very white. So we'll be starting with that. Bit of texture, really fluffy. It sheds a lot. If you ever have this product at home, just remember to use hairspray because it keeps it in place. So Dry Meadow started from home in my lounge, and then as I got more orders, I needed more flowers, so it kind of outgrew our lounge. We had a really tiny house, and then my friend at the time had a spare room, so I rented that off her and I moved into there, and then again it got too big. And at that time it was just after lockdown, so there was actually a lot of shops that were empty, and in Te Anau there's like the main street and there was a couple of shops available, so I was able to move in there, and the rent was quite cheap, which was really good for me, and yeah, so got to move into my first shop. Dry flowers were really popular back in the 80s, I think. But they've kind of done like a circle where they've come back into fashion, but there's a lot more different types of products of dried flowers now, so you can get like preserved flowers, really bright colours, yeah, so there's a lot more to work with nowadays. Cool. So we'll be kind of creating flowers, really just go where they want to go. It's quite hard to like maneuver them around. So when you're measuring your flowers, you kind of want it to be double the vase. It's not like rule, but it does make it look the best. So this is preserved fern. I love using this stuff, it's really pretty. So I tend to put it on the outside just so that it doesn't get lost in everything. Dry Meadow really started just before lockdown, the first lockdown happened, and it kind of came from an idea or a moment where I was actually travelling on my honeymoon in Japan, and they actually had lots of little bunny tails available in one of these stores, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. So I brought some and brought them back. And they had dyed them like a really light pink, and I had them on my windowsill for ages. A couple of years later, the lockdown happened. I went out and sort of foraged with my kid and started adding to it and creating like a little mini bouquet with these bunny tails. And my friend at the time had a really beautiful garden, so she let me go in and like cut it and dry everything out. So during lockdown, I had all these flowers that I was drying in my living room, and it just kept me entertained, I guess. So during that time, I just did a piece every day, and I would put it up on my I made an Instagram page just purely to put my work on there. I didn't have any followers. I think I had like 10 followers at the time, and they were like just my family.
How many have you got now?
I got 31,000, I think. Yeah, so heaps. Which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I guess I created like a portfolio in a sense, and I just got better and better as I did more and more and more, and I got really excited when people would you know, random people would have started to follow me and would ask me for a piece, and yeah, it just kind of took off from there. Preserved flowers last 5+ years, and then dried natural flowers kind of last maybe 2 to 3 years before they start to fade and kind of they sort of shed a bit. So this stuff here is all naturally dried, and then yeah, all your bright colours, all this stuff here is all preserved. Fan palms are really popular. I don't like using them all the time because I feel like everyone uses them, but this person has requested that I use them, so it's kind of good to get some work done as well. I'm kind of working from the back in, and then just making sure there's lots of volume from it. So yeah, using the bulk first so that when you start putting things in, it will stick to the other flowers. So this is called ruscus. This is also preserved and dyed, bleached. So it goes white. So I can put it in there. Again, more texture. Some of this, which is called tiki fern. So I'm going to cut it a little bit. There is a lot to learn. I guess I always had like some kind of creative outlet. So I did a lot of music growing up, and I was in a few bands, and then I studied graphic design. So I was always doing something creative, I guess. And then having a kid, I did stop a lot because my focus was on my baby, and I felt like when I started making the flowers, I had that creative outlet again, and yeah, so I always feel like even though I had no background, I was always creative throughout my life, yeah. It's called smoke bush, so this has been preserved as well. Again, more texture. Just pop on the side. Lots of florists and that use like floral foam, but I don't tend to use it. Flowers kind of stick to themselves after a while. Like if there's enough of it, they'll stick in place. So these are protea hearts, so the inside of the protea, with their leaves cut back, and they've been preserved and dyed. And they're super pretty. I definitely think having goals in place for your dream or your business is important, and to always just remind yourself to focus on those goals and to like not get distracted by what other people are doing if they're in a similar field or whatever you're doing. I did a lot of comparing to other businesses for a while there, and now I don't even really scroll on Instagram just because I'm doing my own thing, and that's what matters. And so if you're starting your own business, like, you should just be focused on what you're doing. Yeah. I think the key to staying creative is to not freak out when you're not feeling creative. Like, you'll always have ups and downs, and I think it's really important to find inspiration in really mundane things. So like if I don't know what to make, I'll just look at what I'm wearing and make something based off the colour that I'm wearing. Creative juices flow by making lots of stuff, and then I get into a really good rhythm of it, and then just, yeah, keep going and going.